Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A tentative insight into the natural world. A concept that is not yet verified but that if true would explain certain facts or phenomena. Capability of existing or happening or being true. There is a possibility that his sense of smell has been impaired. A possible alternative. Bankruptcy is always a possibility. A future prospect or potential. A tentative insight into the natural world. A concept that is not yet verified but that if true would explain certain facts or phenomena. A scientific hypothesis that survives experimental testing becomes a scientific theory. A message expressing an opinion based on incomplete evidence. A proposal intended to explain certain facts or observations. A tentative insight into the natural world. A concept that is not yet verified but that if true would explain certain facts or phenomena. A scientific hypothesis that survives experimental testing becomes a scientific theory. A belief that can guide behavior. The architect has a theory that more is less. A well-substantiated explanation of some aspect of the natural world. An organized system of accepted knowledge that applies in a variety of circumstances to explain a specific set of phenomena. True in fact and theory. Capability of existing or happening or being true. An open or empty space in or between things. There was a small opening between the trees. A recognized sequence of moves at the beginning of a game of chess. He memorized all the important chess openings. An aperture or hole that opens into a bodily cavity. A possible alternative. An entrance equipped with a hatch, especially a passageway between decks of a ship. The first of a series of actions. The first performance, as of a theatrical production. The opening received good critical reviews. A ceremony accompanying the start of some enterprise. A vacant or unobstructed space that is man-made. They left a small opening for the cat at the bottom of the door. Becoming open or being made open. The opening of his arms was the sign I was waiting for. First or beginning. The memorable opening bars of Beethoven's Fifth. Opportunity especially for employment or promotion. There is an opening in the sales department. The act of opening something. The ray of light revealed his cautious opening of the door. The initial part of the introduction. The opening established the basic theme. A possible alternative. Make by combining materials and parts. Some eccentric constructed an electric brazier warmer. An abstract or general idea inferred or derived from specific instances. Reassemble mentally. Reconstruct the events of 20 years ago. Put together out of artificial or natural components or parts. Create by linking linguistic units. Construct a sentence. Create by organizing and linking ideas, arguments, or concepts. Construct a proof. Draw with suitable instruments and under specified conditions. Construct an equilateral triangle. An abstract or general idea inferred or derived from specific instances. The event that occurred at the beginning of something. The creation of something in the mind. An abstract or general idea inferred or derived from specific instances. The act of becoming pregnant. Fertilization of an ovum by a spermatozoon. The state or fact of existing. Laws in existence for centuries. Everything that exists anywhere. The biggest tree in existence. The state or fact of existing. The state or fact of existing. A point of view gradually coming into being. A living thing that has, or can develop, the ability to act or function independently. The state or fact of existing. He appeared on the face of the earth one day. Serving or used in place of another. An alternative plan. One of a number of things from which only one can be chosen. There is no other alternative. Necessitating a choice between mutually exclusive possibilities. Alternative possibilities were neutrality or war. Pertaining to unconventional choices. An alternative lifestyle. The act of choosing or selecting. One of a number of things from which only one can be chosen. What option did I have? The right to buy or sell property at an agreed price. The right is purchased, and if it is not exercised by a stated date, the money is forfeited. The person or thing chosen or selected. The act of choosing or selecting. Your choice of colors was unfortunate. One of a number of things from which only one can be chosen. My only choice is to refuse. Of superior grade. Choice wines. Appealing to refined taste. Choice wine. The possibility of future success. His prospects as a writer are excellent. Someone who is considered for something, for an office or prize or honor, etc. The visual percept of a region. Belief about, or mental picture of, the future. A prediction of the course of a disease. Explore for useful or valuable things or substances, such as minerals. Search for something desirable. Prospect a job. A habitual or characteristic mental attitude that determines how you will interpret and respond to situations. Belief about, or mental picture of, the future. The act of looking out. Belief about, or mental picture of, the future. The sum of the values of a random variable divided by the number of values. Anticipating with confidence of fulfillment. The feeling that something is about to happen. Based primarily on surmise rather than adequate evidence. Hypothetical situation. A hypothetical possibility, circumstance, statement, proposal, situation, etc. Consider the following, just as a hypothetical. A hypothesis that is taken for granted. Any society is built upon certain assumptions. Audacious, even arrogant, behavior that you have no right to. A statement that is assumed to be true and from which a conclusion can be drawn. On the assumption that he has been injured, we can infer that he will not play. The act of taking possession of or power over something. His assumption of office coincided with the trouble in Cuba. Celebration in the Roman Catholic Church of the Virgin Mary's being taken up into heaven when her earthly life ended, corresponds to the Dormition in the Eastern Orthodox Church. Christianity. the taking up of the body and soul of the Virgin Mary when her earthly life had ended. The act of assuming or taking for granted. Your assumption that I would agree was unwarranted. A hypothetical description of a complex entity or process. A hypothesis that is taken for granted. A message expressing an opinion based on incomplete evidence. The cognitive process of supposing. A hypothesis that is taken for granted. The cognitive process of supposing. An investment that is very risky but could yield great profits. He knew the stock was a speculation when he bought it. A message expressing an opinion based on incomplete evidence. A hypothesis that has been formed by speculating or conjecturing, usually with little hard evidence. Speculations about the outcome of the election. Continuous and profound contemplation or musing on a subject or series of subjects of a deep or abstruse nature. To believe especially on uncertain or tentative grounds. A message expressing an opinion based on incomplete evidence. A hypothesis that has been formed by speculating or conjecturing, usually with little hard evidence. He dismissed it as mere conjecture. Reasoning that involves the formation of conclusions from incomplete evidence. A person who poses for a photographer or painter or sculptor. The president didn't have time to be a model, so the artist worked from photos. Construct a model of. Model an airplane. A representative form or pattern. A hypothetical description of a complex entity or process. The computer program was based on a model of the circulatory and respiratory systems. Worthy of imitation. Model citizens. Representation of something, sometimes on a smaller scale. A woman who wears clothes to display fashions. Something to be imitated. A model of clarity. Someone worthy of imitation. Every child needs a role model. The act of representing something, usually on a smaller scale. Create a representation or model of. Form in clay, wax, etc. Model a head with clay. Assume a posture as for artistic purposes. Plan or create according to a model or models. A type of product. His car was an old model. Display, clothes, as a mannequin. Model the latest fashion. A hypothetical description of a complex entity or process. A structure supporting or containing something. The underlying structure. Providing a factual framework for future research. The physically discrete element that Darwin proposed as responsible for heredity. A theory that social and cultural events are determined by history. An aptitude that may be developed. The inherent capacity for coming into being.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.